All right, maybe we're live. All right, so my name is Joe, and what I'm going to do is just a little bit of vibe coding. I'm going to be working on a few different projects, kind of simultaneously as I wait for Claude Code to finish up on certain things. So first one I'm working on is called Brain Spawn, and it's basically going to be a way to quickly create terminals in VS Code. So this is kind of how I like to work with Claude Code. One of these is actually running my running the application. So in this case, this project is Clibbits. On the right here, I have my clipboard history app, and it's also running like this transcriber thing. So if I need to do some transcription here, just to show it as a demo. Okay, so the live transcription stuff, which I'm going to be using, is all running through here. But yeah, so back to this idea is whenever I run Claude Code in VS Code, I like to let's just grab one of these. I like to create a bunch of them. Usually the icons mostly reflect like the general idea of something I'm trying to do. Like this would be like something I'm trying to debug. This one I was making like a little stats page. So I was making this usage page. This one was for like a labeling thing. Obviously there's not enough icons to do everything I want. I usually have one open that is just for me running the usage command, so I can just see like how much I'm using, which looking pretty good still. So yeah, so I wanted to have like an app or a VS Code extension that can let me spawn a bunch of VS Code terminals. The idea would be you can configure the starting icon and then the starting command that runs. So, normally what I would do is I would like start. Okay, let's see. So like I would start a new terminal. For one, it takes like a little bit to actually get up and running, which is annoying. But now it's there, and then I would run Claude. In another couple seconds. And so usually it's like I do this a couple different times. I go over here, just change the icon. This is gonna be a little robot dude. Let's just get this all situated. Maybe I'll make this one into my my usage checker. So that's usually the number. Okay, so that's the general idea. It's like I like to basically boot up VS Code, and then like throughout the day, I just like keep adding little Claude codes that I can just kind of keep cycling through. So this brain spawn VS Code extension is going to be a way for me to set up like a configurable number of terminals, and I would be able to set the icon, set the starting command. That's what we're going for. So I had it basically, I created like a PRD. Like I just talked to Claude for a little bit to say exactly what I was trying to do. It created this PRD file, and then I had it use the PRD file in plan mode to actually create the project. So we're gonna start. Let's give it a test. Give it a run. Now find the build task. Seems like I can just do that. Okay. I'm guessing this is the brain spawn group. Okay. See if we actually have. Okay. I mean, to be honest, I don't know how this works yet. So let's go back here. Should I be able to configure the spawn group in UI, or do I have to do it in the JSON file? All right, so I can just also talk a little bit about what's happening on the side. So Clibbits, that is yeah, it's like this other little project I'm working on, which I will be working on here in a second. And it's the clipboard history tool on the right here, and it's connected to my mic. So every time I like record something, like I just did, then you'll see. Yeah, basically it gets copied to the clipboard. I'm curious. So the thing I'm looking at here is like when I say something, should I be able to configure the spawn group in the UI, or does it have to be done in JSON file? So that's not exactly what I said. What I said was, should I be able to configure the spawn group or in the UI? Like, so this is what the mic actually heard, which is not great. And then it just cleaned it up a little bit. The thing I'm confused about is why there's two of these. Actually, I can see that there's multiple coming up like this. I'll have to figure that out in a second. But both the plan and PID call for a full web view. Configure, and I implemented the brain spawn edit configuration command opens a web view panel. Okay. Well, let's try it. Okay. Spawn group. Let's say Bootstrap. Oh, it looks pretty cool. All right. So the name of this terminal will be, let's say, feature builder. And it's giving me all the, so VS Code, like when you go back here. Oh. This is the other problem I have to try to solve. Is for some reason the following extension contribute this terminal's environment, GitHub Copilot chat. Like I keep having to disable this thing. Because what GitHub Copilot chat does is it messes with the environment of your terminal. And then it does this, and then it ruins the icon. And I cannot get the icon to go back to what I had it as. And when you hover over it, it usually tells you what is wrong. The following extensions want to relaunch the terminal to contribute to its environment. Dart. Looks like there's more in that list, but it's not letting me scroll. I think this is not even a Dart thing. Why are you trying to mess with the terminal? I mean, I guess that makes sense. You're trying to add the SDK to terminal path. Like, did it ruin all of mine? I don't know what join terminals does. I guess what we can do is just like kill these. Super annoying though. I'll have to restart them. I tried to turn off that warning icon, but apparently that setting is now deprecated, so you can't even do that. And so you can see that this is already a major pain point for me. I have a style that I like to use, and VS Code does not want me to do that. regardless, let's get back to this. So I want to have a feature builder. Usually this is just going to be like tools, and all of these are going to just run Claude when they open up. Let's just say this will be green. I think that's fine. I think that's all we need. And actually, I guess it's giving me a preview up here of what this is going to look like in the sidebar. And real quick, I guess if you do expand this, you'll see that it has the name and the icon. So like normally I just have it collapsed, but if it was expanded, it would look like this. So let's get rid of that guy. Add another one. Say debugger bug. I don't want to do it red because I feel like that's gonna not be nice. All right, now let's add another one. Say usage. I don't know what if the number one is. We'll do watch. So I don't think it gave me all of the options. Okay, I'm also realizing that the preview here, I don't want to like undo this because I feel like I'm gonna have to go back in and like remake these, but the preview is not actually using the icon that I selected. So that's one thing we have to change. I guess we'll just start with that. All right, we're resuming. After I create the spawn configuration or spawn group, how do I actually use it? This transcriber is also not great. I mean, it's not bad. I think, yeah, I have to figure this out. There's something going on where it's duplicating whatever I said. So how do I access actually use it? Okay. It didn't quite get it, but it was close enough. There are several ways to launch a configured spawn group. Keyboard shortcut, Command-Shift-T. Let's just brain spawn launch because I'm not going to remember that hotkey. I have too many hotkeys in my head. Well, that ain't good. And it's safe. So a few things. First, I tried to use the configuration panel and it didn't save the spawn group that I created. Also, when I was creating the spawn group, the icons in the previews did not match the ones that I selected. Plus, the dropdown didn't include all of the actual VS Code icon options, and I need a few more, one being the number symbol. Okay, so we're gonna let that one cook, and then we're gonna go back to Clibbits because there's this bug over here that's like duplicating what I'm saying. Let's just start a fresh one. And usually I just like reference these by these hotkeys here, and then Claude can go like search for them. So let's see. So when I click this button or my hotkey, it does the voice capture hotkey. So there seems to be a bug when I use the voice capture hotkey. It records what I'm saying and then creates one item in the clipboard that has the original content and the refined content, but then it creates a duplicate item that just has the refined content. Yeah, I did it again. And okay, so like this whole thing is a work in progress, but one of the problems that I've noticed is that when it goes through my prompt, so for anybody who hasn't seen my other videos, I have this transcription set up for Clibbits, and you can give it this optional voice capture prompt. So every time it gets a transcription, and we can see that like here, not this one, like here. It gets the transcription. Transcription has, a bunch of like extra punctuation. It's not always super accurate. It doesn't really need to be. And sometimes it grabs like extra things at the end that I didn't really say, or just mixes it up. And so then I run that through this prompt using another LLM, and it generates this output all kind of like at the same time. And then it saves the item to my clipboard. And then when I go back here, I can like literally, I can click on one of these and just like paste it. So that's what Clibbits is. I also realized there's another problem. So let's just change this to settings. All right, so this is gonna be the one I'm working on settings for. And what was the problem that I just realized? Okay, so that did that. All right, let's try this again. How does it work? A lot of times I have to just restart it. I don't feel like that change was taking place. All right, how is this working? There we go. Original content, refined content. That's looking good. I think one of the ones I remember. I remember what I was doing. There's a problem every time I click on the settings icon. It'll open a new window. So even if I already have settings open, it keeps opening new windows and they stack up. And so what I mean by this is I can do this, and I think I can do this again, and then I can do this again. Yeah, so it just basically, like, it doesn't really keep track of the windows that are already open. I'd rather just like have the window be brought to the surface. Okay, back to this one. Text inputs now fire on input event every keystroke instead of only change. The data isn't lost if you type without tapping away. Text fields use debounce save to, okay, that's good. After save, the file's watcher config echo is ignored. So it doesn't overwrite any progress edits. Okay, errors are now shown as a visible banner at the top of the thing. Okay, so cool. Guess we can I basically keep finding bugs too with Clibbits because I just basically have really tried to update it a bunch over the past couple of days. Before it was literally just clipboard history, and now that I'm using it for a bunch of other stuff, I keep like finding issues. One of them being that if there's like a modal or tooltip open and I click my screenshot hotkey, then like it closes the modals and stuff. Which when you do that with the normal, when you do that with like the normal screenshot tool on Mac, it doesn't actually close things. It like basically like freezes the screen and lets you do stuff to it. So I would like to do something like that. I get this image every time I try to start the debugger in VS Code for this VS Code extension project. All right, so let's actually do it. Debug anyway. Let's create it inside of Clibbits. All right, so now we got a little like inception going here. I got my debug version of Clibbits running the VS Code extension, brain spawn, the old Clibbits. What is this? Oh, that's my GPU. Okay. Go back here. Edit configuration. All right, so you basically have to create a brain spawn. You have to create brain spawn in a project, a spawn group. I don't actually know if that should be a requirement. Like, I feel like I just want like a personal, like a user level spawn group. But there we go. We got a icon is at least reflecting what we wanted. So this is going to be all right. So there's bugs. There's bugs that are already happening. Just gonna let that one cook on that one for a second. Let's say this is gonna be tools. Also, they don't seem like they're ordered. There's just a bunch of. They put all the terminal onto the top, which is they. I guess I technically did it with Claude, but it's fine. And it's gonna run Claude. Maybe it's best if we just do one at a time. Actually, I want to see it work. I want to see it work in action. So this is going to be debugger bug. I also don't like how these kind of overflow. Screenshot that. In the spawn group configuration screen, the fields occasionally overflow if the center window is not big enough. Also weird to have like a prompt running on everything I say. So really what I'm saying to Claude is not even what is being communicated. In spawn group configuration, periodically screen the fields. If the center window is too small, adjust it accordingly. See, it's not even, hold on. You messed it up. What I meant to say was that the fields in the edit configuration page sometimes overflow on the right side of the screen. Okay, so I have another hotkey for Clibbits, one that doesn't use the prompt transformation. So like I can just like put in my raw audio file or transcription here. So that's what happened. Okay, so we have a couple that are going. Bug will say just be like this blue. All right, but I like how the preview works, so we can see these two. All right, so we have something that should be working. So now if I try to do this, launch group, bootstrap. Oh, we did it. They're supposed to. Oh, they did it. One of them did it. Oh, yeah, because I didn't put a command here. Okay. All right, so I think that might be nice. Let's get rid of these. Oops. Ah, I'm hitting the wrong button. Okay, so I forgot to put the command in here, but this is going to work. I know it. Launch group, bootstrap. Now, it created my two terminals, run Claude in them, and now we are ready to go. So, like, now that this technically works, I guess I could add in, not letting me, like, shrink this side page. I also want to be able to adjust the width of the side panel in the edit configuration page with all of these spawn groups. I don't even care. I'm gonna have to adjust that transformer, the prompt transformer thing, because it keeps like removing the meaning from the things I'm saying. Okay, though, this is looking okay. There's still like it's still a little buggy, I guess, like when I'm typing and stuff. You can't probably see it, but it feels a little bit like it's refreshing on the debounce. But this will be the usage one. I think. I don't know what the number symbol thing is called. Not a hashtag. Like something I should just know, but I don't know it. Symbol number. Very nice. Okay, so this is going to be yellow. And we should not forget to run Claude in it. And let's add one more. See, that's another thing that's kind of annoying. It's like I add one and I have to scroll all the way down to see it. And this error message pops up immediately when I delete that. So that's kind of annoying. So I will put that back in, but this will be one for design. Yeah, the debounce is actually annoying. Like it's like can't even finish typing. These things don't have intuitive names. Like I want the color one, or it's like maybe palette, or not paint. Paint can. No, it's not paint can. I want the literal palette for the colors. This is the hardest part of my day. Not that one, but it's fine. Okay, so we have enough. We have a lot of them. There are a few problems with the debounce currently. The first one is that it immediately shows me this error whenever I remove the text in the name field. We should only show this error if they try to submit with something empty. Actually, if they submit with an empty name, that's fine. Let's just use a default. All right, another problem I found with Clibbits is that, like, say I copy something that I want to talk about, and then I go transcribe. I do the transcription, it adds that to my clipboard, and then when I go to paste the thing that I wanted to talk about, I'm pasting what I just transcribed. So there's the one. Okay, so let's let that go on that. Let's restart this. I guess while that's going, let's check back in on Clibbits build, which should be done by now. So here's a settings screen. There's another settings screen. So you didn't fix it. Voice capture creates a clipboard. Okay, that's not the one. This one. I think this is one where I have to restart because it's using the main process of the Electron app. Let's create the window. There's one. Oh, there we go. Nice. The other thing along the same lines is that, like, if I open a preview, I can open multiple previews, even of the same item. It's kind of a personal preference, but like I would almost prefer to like only allow one preview to be open at a time. But that actually might not be great because oh, that's a bug too. So the screenshots are like off. What the heck? What I was going to say was that, like, you might want to have one screenshot open and one like other thing so you can reference them both. So like the ideal state is probably one of each type open. Or like one of each clipboard item. Regardless, there's some weird stuff going on with the screenshotter. That just broke too. It was working fine. No. I want the camera. Down. Okay. So let's move these up so that I know what I'm working on. The screenshot tool seemed to recently break. Now every time I take a screenshot using the hotkey, the screenshots are offset to the left and top. I don't know what happened there. Like, oh, maybe. I'm curious if, so like I just basically up on my top of my screen, I like zoomed in. Let me zoom out. Pretty small now. Well, let's just see if that actually making a change. That would be super weird if it's like the screenshots. If they're like affected by the zoom layer, zoom level. It also takes like a second for it to show up here. They are affected by the zoom level. All right, I figured it out, dude. I figured out what the problem is, but I don't have a solution yet. The problem is that when I zoom in on the Clibbits project UI, then the screenshots don't adjust accordingly. So if I zoom in, the screenshots are offset by some unknown amount. at a normal zoom layer, the screenshots look fine. Okay, so we figured it out. We figured some of it out. All right, so actually now this one's done, so we can go back to seeing what it actually. I'm confusing myself with the same colored windows, but yeah, see, it did this. It did this again. I mostly want nothing to like touch the terminal. Stop trying to make changes to it. And now I can't even see the entire like it seems like if you look at the very bottom there should be something else here, but I can't actually get to it. I can't actually scroll inside of this thing. All right, not my problem, not something I can fix, but we're going to use brain spawn immediately. We're going to do our launch groups. One of them I guess I forgot to, let's do that. Edit configuration. One of these is using the normal terminal. Okay, I just didn't even. Oh, I must have just clicked the button twice and it created like multiple terminals. But you'll see that we have the adjustment now. And say this will be quick fixes. No, so there's something weird that's going on. It's like when it's saving, it loses focus, and yeah, so it keeps doing that. Ah, I wonder also super annoying. I already have a yellow one. That looks good to me. The debounce is still weird. Whenever it triggers, the text field loses focus. That's it. That's the problem. The text field loses focus. Okay, so while that's running, we're going to jump back here. So, also, you may be wondering, is this too many Claude Code terminals? Because I'm not even using all of them. Instead, I say, no, it is not. 16%, 10 a.m. All right, we can do this. We can get through it. Okay, so we're back up and running. We're going to use the screenshot tool. Let's like say we're going to perfectly grab this snippet. Give it a second. That looks good. Now I'm going to go to the window. I'm going to say view, zoom in. So this got a little bit bigger. Now we're going to try the same thing again. Let's do this one. Nice. Nice. So whatever it did, it worked. Whatever it did, it worked, but it's not very clear what it did. All right, settings. You know, this is a personal thing, so personal project, I don't really need to add coherent comments. All right, let's restart this. So I'm thinking actually we're getting pretty close to being like kind of done with this thing. I just need like a user level spawn group. So user level spawn group, user level spawn group. I'm thinking maybe these like all just break whenever I like refresh it. Which we can actually, you know, we can test that real fast. So Claude, oh, I guess I have to create multiple. So they both look like the terminal. Now if I go here, refresh them. Yeah, it busted it. Fine. Bootstrap. That settings icon actually looks kind of hard to see on this theme, but doesn't matter that much. Doesn't matter that much. But not bad. That is what I was trying to accomplish. So let's do the last thing. So let's see. Now I want to be able to create user level spawn groups. Can I already do that, or do we need to add a new setting to the configuration page? So I actually have, oops, this is my mouse, the gaming mouse, Saber mouse. And so it has 12 keys on the side. And usually like when I'm in the flow, just like working, it just like, I just know where the keys are. But like if I had to go through and like look at each number and say like, oh, this is my copy button, this is my paste button, it would be kind of hard. Like I have one that does like one that does a copy, one that does a paste, one that like can move the screen around. So like say if I wanted to move it there, there again. One that moves the screen. There's one that like formats code. So there's no code here, but the like source file. So yeah. One of the keys is enter, one is format. One is now my Clibbits transcriber, which is cool. So what does this file say? Something like that. And then I have, oh yeah, I have ones that are, when I'm in VS Code, they like navigate me forward and backwards. So like I can just jump between files. So yeah, I do a lot of clicking with my thumb. And I've already went through one of these mice, one of these mouses before. It lasted me like 3 years, which was pretty decent. And then I also have, can't really show it, but I have a Moonlander keyboard, which I have like done 200 edits to. Mostly static right now, but I feel like with this new Clibbits thing, where I like have a bunch of different hotkeys and stuff, it might be useful to go change it. I also wish this had a way to like jump back to the latest answer. All right, this partial support already, but it's limited. What exists today? The brain spawn groups VS Code extension can be set at the user level, and the extension reads it as a fallback when the local one doesn't exist. It's either or. Once a workspace has user level settings completely ignored, there's no merging. The web view config panel only saves to, so user level groups can't be managed from the UI. If you want user level spawn groups that show up across all your workspaces, that would need new work. Merging both sources in the config loader, allowing the web view to save to either location. I mean, yes, I do want that. I'm just gonna let it go do that. I want to be able to configure just my user level ones, and then we can see how it works. But I will probably just use a user level one. Like I don't actually need project specific ones. So let's try this. That feels nicer already. And I guess also what I would like to do is, my thought was to change or add more colors here, but I don't actually think you can do that. I think like when you go to change the color, yeah, you have these options, which I also have these options. So I can't really do that. Maybe the one thing I do want to do is like just like sort these alphabetically, which there kind of are. Except for when you get down here, then it's like it resets. So let's just fix that real fast. Let's make sure that the icons in the icon dropdown are sorted alphabetically. And then what we can do is we can just see how much we're saying. So yesterday, I basically added this new screen to Clibbits. One to tell me how many characters I've copied. Oh, I guess is that like total? A very new UI. I haven't even really played with it that much. This almost looks like the total characters I've copied. Like all together, maybe. But basically what I have is like every action I take, every time I copy something, this gets incremented. Every time I recopy by like clicking on this, I can refresh. There, it went up. Transcriptions is the number of times that I've used my my hotkey to just transcribe things. Deleted, I think this is like if I just delete something from here. Yeah, and then voice. This might be the different times that I use transformations on these different things. So like what I have is like, all right, so for a test, so I have this label button. So if I click the label button, it then listens to me and I can just like relabel this. It doesn't change the content, but if I knew this was something special, or it's like this one, at normal zoom layer, the screenshots look fine. Zoom layer. And so, yeah, it can relabel it. So let's see if voice goes up. It didn't. So I don't even know what that means then. Let's go ask. It's some sort of action. So like in the settings. The other thing that I have not got Clibbits to do yet is like these sort of like at references. That's kind of a hard one, is to like figure out how to like, you know, see the actual names of the files and then at them with their pathways. I don't think I know how to do that yet. In the usage tracker, what does the voice metric measure? Okay, so it says it's sorted. And then we might also have user level stuff. Oh no, it's still doing user level stuff. So let's wait on that. Voice transformations metric is metric and empty days, just a counter field. The tracker itself doesn't define what it measures. What is the difference between the voice and the transcription action metrics? Because I also could have like started recording or started like tracking one of these earlier. I'm not actually remembering. 434. So like, let's try again. Here's another example. So they're both going up. So 435, 76. Now if I do one without the transformations, let's see. This is a test of the unrefined output. I think what I see, I think I see the error. I think what's happening is that this number is when I'm doing like the raw stream, it's taking, it mostly gets it in like chunks. And so it's not really a one-to-one. And I think it's counting every single chunk. That's why transcriptions is like so high, which is kind of not what I want. Transcriptions completed counts anytime a transcription finishes, while voice transformation only counts when that transcription is then passed to the LLM for refinement. So yeah, so this number is just going to be so much bigger. A voice transformation is a transcription plus LLM step. So every voice transformation implies a transcription, but not every transcription involves. It makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. I think there is some kind of error. The transcription seems to count multiple inputs every time I say something, as if it's counting each chunk. But I want raw voice capture to be treated the same way as the prompt processed voice capture. Dang, I did it again. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure that out. I keep doing that. I keep copying something, saying something, and then trying to copy it or paste it. Oops. Let me just confirm. So 444, that's an easy number to remember. Now I'm going to do the raw recording. All right, so this is a single raw recording. I'm hoping that it only counts as one, but I'm assuming it's going to count as many. Counted as 3. Yeah, that is what it is. So yeah, transcription needs to count multiple times. Every time I say something as if it's counting each chunk. I don't like how this thing keeps breaking it up into multiple sentences. That's just how the STT is working. Prompt process voice capture. All right, let's just send that in. I'm pretty sure. How should the add group button work for choosing scope? And so this is asking me when it creates a new one, go to work. Go to work, buddy. It's gonna default to the workspace that you're in, and then you can move it to the user level. And so then what we're gonna do after this finishes is that we're going to test it. We're going to create one at the workspace level, one at the user level, make sure that the proper one is used. Like the thing is like I want to make sure that the workspace one basically want them to act independently. Like if I want to use the workspace one, I want the workspace one to be used, vice versa. Simple as that. So this thing is working on updating the count. There's actually one other thing I can work on. It's related to screenshots. I'm not sure if this is possible to fix, but when I use my screenshot hotkey, it removes any tooltips or modals, so it's impossible to take a screenshot of those. The built-in Mac screenshot tool doesn't seem to have this problem. I also wish this thing just refreshed. I don't know why. I check it so much. I don't know why. Like, it's like, oh, where am I at? I have 3 hours, and I'm not even really that close. The thing is like, if I have a lot of ideas, a lot of like things that I need to fix, then it's pretty easy to go through this. Not pretty easy. I've done it like twice. Let me see if I have a list on my phone. All right, so here's an interesting one. So what I have now is copy something. It goes to Clibbits here. And then there is a hotkey, which maybe this is it. Hotkey. Hotkey. All right, so what happened is, one, I copied what was here. It went to the clipboard. I hit my labeler button, which then lets me change the label of the last thing that I copied. So it heard hotkey, but I said hotkey. The idea I had was, instead of having to press the hotkey to then label the last thing on the clipboard, to have some sort of like 5-second window every time you copy something that just is like waiting for you to say the label. The thing is, this whole label thing is more of like an idea that sounds cool to just have, but I'm really only ever using like the top 10 things in my clipboard. I'm never really like searching through, but I guess the point is like, you can search by the label. So that new label that I just added can be used. And so like, yeah, if I go to like one of these, the thing is, you start building up a lot of different pages, which I'm still not sure if like that's how I want the clipboard history to work. I think that also sounds like a good idea. Like, your clipboard history forever never forgets anything about you, or forgets anything that you copied. What the heck? I can't even. Oh, I see. What I just realized is that when I'm in the history page, I cannot use my voice commands, which seems like a not great. Seems like a bug. I think this is an example. I actually should probably add something where, like, if what you see here is a label, it's just like a different color. So you don't think like, oh, I'm going to copy zoom layer and I'm actually getting this entire thing. I was just looking for an example of something to prove. So like, that's also a bug. All right, I'm finding bugs left and right. The bug I found now is that this search doesn't actually respect the filter. So it's not giving me just URLs. On the history page, the search bar does not respect the selected filter. So if I have the URL selected and I search for something, it's not only searching the URLs, it is searching everything, which is confusing. And then I'll just like feed it something. Look here. I hear this has like an actual name, which is like a steering command. I don't know where I saw that, but I guess that's the general idea, is like your agent is already working on something and you just like give it something else to like take and work with. Okay, this thing finished. So let's restart that. And then we will check out our configuration. So the new thing that was refreshed. New thing that was created was, I guess it's showing me the workspace. Close this real quick. I guess I can rearrange them, which is cool. I'm almost thinking after you create it, you just want to like collapse it. Which, you know, why not? It's going to take me 2 seconds to ask for that. There's this button here. Let's create a new one. This is just called say core. Claude 1. I guess I would also like to just like copy this. You know, let's do that. 2 requests. The first one is I would like an option to copy an existing terminal in the configuration page. Request number 2 is that I want to be able to collapse the terminal UI as well. Yeah, because I would just want to like copy this Claude. Here is Claude 2. Also running Claude. They're all just Claudes. All right. And then we're going to test the user setting, user scope. And so I guess what I'm assuming is if I go to like user settings, JSON, brain spawn, here we go. We have my brain spawn groups, and you could technically move it back to the workspace. And I guess like for my own knowledge, just like explain what this is. 2 Claudes. Bootstrap, I'm just gonna remember this is 5 Claudes. 5 Claudes spinning up to do whatever they want. Actually, what is this? Oh, it gave me a little thing so I can do that as well. And I can duplicate. Okay, so this is almost a fully featured VS Code project. I'm trying to think what else I would want. I mean, that's really it. It's like brain spawn, launch group, kill group. That seems violent. Focus on spawn groups view. Like, I don't know what that means. It's just showing me all the terminals. All right, so actually what I want to try is I want to like launch group, bootstrap. So first question I had was like, yeah, what's gonna happen if it's already open? Basically, it just adds more of them. So here we have a bunch of these. Second question is, what if I do this? Also not terrible. Basically, I just click on one of these, it just opens it up, which is like, I mean, yeah, the point, the reason why I wanted to build this was like to have different icons, so like I can just know like in my head I have something to anchor on of like, all right, this one I'm working on this feature, this one I'm working on this feature. I could almost see myself like just having like just adding like 20 to Bootstrap, and then like whenever I wanted a new terminal, I would just like click it and bloop, it would spin up, and I could just like delete ones I didn't like. I didn't like that Claude. He wasn't being well. He wasn't being good. All right, but actually, so I'm waiting on this thing to finish, which it is. It's done. All right, it's not bad. Not a bad morning. We're only like, can I see how long this stream has been going for? You change the name of a YouTube stream. I'm realizing that it's streaming as just like this. You can choose the name of the YouTube stream while it is live or before it starts. You change the name of a YouTube stream. I'm realizing that it's streaming as just like this. You can choose the name of the YouTube stream while it is live or before it starts. You change the name of a YouTube stream. I'm realizing that it's streaming as just like this. You can choose the name of the YouTube stream while it is live or before it starts. We're gonna rename this to Live Vibes, Brainspawn, Clibbits, and was I working on anything else? Local GPUs. Okay. All right, so a couple things have happened in the last 2 minutes. This should be fixed now. Zoom. Not fixed, buddy. Didn't fix it. How does this look? Is this gonna work? Okay, so the search was fixed. Now it only searches over the ones that you have selected. This is something I also wanted to add was right now I don't have actual like captions or labels for any of the images, so you would not be able to search this. I am curious if when 3 4B, I'm pretty sure it's just a text-to-text model. Where do they say that? Yeah, I don't think this one runs on any sort of imagery. I guess like what I would like to find is a really small one that does run on images. Because what I have right now is I have two RTX 5090s. One is running this. It's running Qwen 3 ASR 1.7B. So that's whenever I like, run my recorder. This is a test of Qwen 3 ASR. Qwen 3. So when I click the recording button, that's what it's using. Then I have when we 4B instruct. So this is the model that's used to do the transcription transformations. It's just really fast, decently smart for what I'm using it for. But what I'm thinking would be cool is, yeah, every time I take a screenshot, the easy thing to do would be to like use like a local OCR, like Tesseract or something. Just extract any text and then maybe add that as a label. So like here's what an image looks like right now. There's like no label or anything, or no like annotations. And so it's impossible to find them. Honestly, the Tesseract version or option seems like a good one because most of the time I'm screenshotting code. The other question you have to ask yourself is how often are you going to go back and look at screenshots of code? Most likely you're not going to do that. The other use case I have for this is like saving memes. So like on Twitter, somebody posts something that looks funny, I just like save it somewhere. And I would like to have that just like all here, and I can just search for like the latest meme of the week or something. But what I would need in order to do that is not an image generation model. I need something that can just like understand images. So a multimodal model that is fairly small. I didn't even finish what I was saying. So I have two RTX 5090s. One is running the speech to text. One is running the LLM. The one running the speech to text, that model is only 1.7 billion parameters. So there's a ton of space on that other GPU. And I don't know how to actually search Hugging Face. Like I feel like there's like so many ways to go through this. This is also too big. It's just too big. I don't know if I'm gonna find what I'm looking for, to be honest. Small model with basic image understanding. How big is this one? Where's the size? I don't know what 2512 actually means. You can go to these quantizations to find like smaller ones. Okay, so 20B. Again, I'm not looking for something that is like not going to make any mistakes. Like, it can make mistakes. I don't care that much. What the heck is this? A 2B? Oh, wait, what is this? 4B. That actually looks very nice. An FP8 quantized version of the Qwen 3 VL4B thinking model. The quantization method is fine-grained. Okay. The most powerful vision language model in the Qwen series to date. I think we found it. This generation delivers comprehensive upgrades across the board, superior text understanding and generation, deeper visual perception and reasoning. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this to my... I have this Claude right here is running on the machine next to me, which has all of the GPUs. I want to add a vision model on the same GPU as the ASR. This one specifically. I also don't feel like I need to correct my spelling when I'm talking to an LLM, but for my own sake and brain health, I probably should. Let's see if it can do that. So like right now, it's like the GPU running the ASR model, automatic speech recognition, I believe is what it stands for. There's a lot of space left on that one. And actually, I was just trying to figure that out earlier. Here we go. Yeah, start it up. And so I have this giant script. Not even giant. It's a fairly small script where I've tried a couple different things. So I tried the new Qwen 3.5 27B model, but it's honestly too big. It still runs on the machine. It's just incredibly slow. I was trying to use it to do some of the transformations, and then it was just proving to be overkill. Basically, every transformation on the prompts, or like every time I said something and it ran the prompt, it would take like 10 seconds to finish. So that was not great, even out of this Q6 quantization. I tried some other just configurations. Some of these work. Like I got 3.5 to work on like Llama CPP. Actually, that's this first one. I got it to run a little bit faster on this one, but it was still too slow for my liking. Yeah, so this might actually take a little bit to load, but I'm actually pretty excited about that. So like, what the idea is, which I will stop the stream and start again in a little bit, is we're going to add a configuration to our settings. So there will be LLM provider. I'm going to move the transcription up, and then there will be one that is for vision. And then you can, again, point your machine at whatever endpoint you want to do your vision analysis. And so then every time I take a screenshot, I'm going to add a caption to the image to then make all of the images searchable. That's it. We're going to start there. Maybe I'll just keep the stream going. or be thinking? Anytime you like go to use one of these models on vLLM, you have to wait for it to download, obviously. These ones are not bad. They're pretty small. But like for the 32B one, the Quen 3.5 model that just came out, like it took a good 15 minutes to download it. Let me do this actually. So with me over here. This is a not important part of the screen. All right. Okay, so this was solving the problem that I was talking about earlier, where if there's like a tooltip and I try to take a screenshot, so I think we can even demo it. Like hover over this, because they don't have tooltips on that screen. Hover over this, then I go take a screenshot. Yeah, the screenshot goes away, and then like I don't actually get it in my screenshot. And so this is the solution here, which is what I thought Mac was doing. Is just like you take a screenshot of the entire window or of the entire screen, and then you do the capture over top of it. So Claude is going to work on that. And I just was confirming, I don't think there's the tooltips here, which I want still. I would still like to have tooltips that show on the history view to preview the content of each clipboard item. We have it on the normal clipboard panel, just not on the history view. All right, so we're gonna fix a couple things. Move this to the top. This one we're working on. How does that work? Okay. This sort of vision analysis should run every time a new image item is added to the clipboard. We will need to add a new tab to the sections view for configuring the vision model endpoint and API keys, just like we do for the LLM. All right, and so like, I'm just basically getting this prompt ready. As I said, I want to be able to do analysis on every new image that gets added to the clipboard, to add just some like text to it that we can then use to search later. Anytime I'm like doing something, oops, not that. Anytime the request is definitely going to be a larger one and it's going to go across multiple files, I just put Claude into plan mode, like overdrive. We probably so what I'm thinking is right now it's like this, the image itself is like the content of the clipboard item, whereas opposed to a normal one, it's the text. So I'm basically just trying to figure out where to put the new annotation content. In this case, there's like the label. There's a label of the content, and then in some cases there's like original content. I think I just want it in like a description field. All right, it's a lot of stuff. I'm like telling it all the places to look. Get to work. All right, vision model is live at, no, it's leaking thinking tokens like the 14B was. You can suppress that from the client with extra body. All right, so I mean, this is gonna be step 2. Is like we're gonna set up. I want to add, another one here that's gonna be vision provider, and then we can do the same thing that I did here with the LLM, is that you can send in extra JSON for the model. Quick little thing I want to do real fast is this. Let's move the clipboard option in settings to the very top, and then we will have the LLM and transcription ones next to each other. As a normal programmer or an old time programmer, I would have just went in and like moved those, but I don't even know where they are in this project. I did actually hand code the original version of this, which was the clipboard manager. And so I had to learn how to do like IPC stuff for Electron to pass data back and forth, which is a ton of boilerplate. I did, this is like my first Electron app I ever made, and likely the last one that I will do by hand, but it was a lot of boilerplate. You have to do something on the main side, on the client. You have to have this whole preload thing, which like sets up your APIs. So like every change you wanted to make, there was like 6 places you had to go update and make sure that the data was getting passed. And now with this AI, also Claude does this every now and then, which is I have to like adjust the window to like bring it back. But yeah, so you had to change like 6 different places in order to pass data around. And now with the AI, I just like let it go, let it do what it's got to do. Okay, cool. That's updated. Let's check back in on this one. I don't even know if this was doing anything anymore. Oh, it finished our last request. So we had I wanted it to give me an option to do and then to collapse one. And it is here. Edit configuration for brain spawn. Let's try it. Okay. Still annoying. Still very annoying UI. For one, it didn't remember to keep the tiles collapsed. And two, it jumps me around whenever I create a new one. So even if I close that, and it doesn't close. So there's three issues. There's three issues here. The tiles need to remember their collapse versus expanded state. So if I collapse it, it should just stay that way. Also, the delete icon does not do anything. I want it to finish. I want it to fix those two things before I have it do the persisted scroll level. I feel like if it tries to do all of that at once, it's going to get confused. Yeah, that actually just doesn't do anything. The other thing I wish that happened is I wish these terminals could show me like a loading icon when they're still working. Or like some sort of other, they could change color to show me that like they need input. Like that would be the ideal thing. I don't think you can actually do that. Is it possible to use the VS Code extensions API to change the icon in the terminal dynamically? I would like to show a loading indicator while it is doing work, and then also detect when a terminal requires my input. Sometimes you just finish a question and you don't even know you're done with it. You're like, oh, that's the question. Let's close this. Honestly, let's close that too. Let's clean up our workspace. A little feng shui. See, and I don't know if you can hear the beep, but every time like a terminal finishes something, it beeps. But now when I have a bunch of terminals running, hard to know which one beeped. All right, so this one's still working. This is the video one, so we're gonna get kicked off. This one finished, so now we have tooltips on our history page, which is nice. I also think I want the labeling and transformation icons. I also want the labeling and transformation icons like we have on the clipboard view that let me update or transform the items when I'm looking at the history view. Maybe we got it. I guess also another idea I am having right now is that like, okay, yeah, the idea is this. For Clibbits, there, this transcription thing, it would be nice to have like workspace specific voice capture prompts. So right now this is like one prompt to rule them all, and it's just like a generic one to clean up what I'm saying. But I could see, for example, if I'm working in this Clibbits project and I know there is a history view, and I know there's a settings view and a clipboard view, I could basically update this prompt here. Even I could even map, like whenever I say clipboard view, map it to this file path. Then you could start getting into like some cool workflows where, like, you know, we go back here. Basically, I can map this file path to the term settings view, and then when I'm speaking it, I can just replace it. I just swap it out. I can either do that with the prompt if it's running fast enough, which it runs decently fast. But do I trust it with this length of text? Possibly. Also, not the worst thing if it messes up, but like, it's just text here. Or I could just do like raw replacement. So if you see settings view in the thing I'm talking about while I'm working on this project, replace it. That's a cool idea. I mean, let's actually do this. Let's I am thinking of an idea for creating workspace level prompt transformations that would recognize specific file paths and replace them in the final text output. This type of transformation could happen using direct replacement that detects certain phrases and replaces them with their file path equivalents, or it could be baked into the prompt and the LLM could do the replacement. It would need to add @ symbols so that AI coding agents would recognize them as file paths. Cool, cool, cool. Also, okay, so another annoying thing, I'm just gonna fix this. Another bug is this thing doesn't work. Just kidding. It works. It just, like, you can't click on a specific day to see what the metrics look like for that day. Like, it does this weird box thing. And I also see that the vision thing is here. All right, so we're getting close. We're having like a bunch of stuff going on. I have to, one, move this vision thing up so it's next to these two options, just because like that's like all your AI stuff. So let's do that first. Change this to video just so I know what it is doing. Let's move the vision tile up underneath the transcription tile. So that can work on that. This is a case where, like, I wish I knew. I think it's just called usage. Yeah. Currently, the charts on the usage page do not let me interactively click on them. I would like to be able to click on a bar chart for a specific day and only see the data for that selected day. Right now, I can only click on the entire chart. Something like that. So we will cook on those. Cook, 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 cook. And if we go back to brain spawn, we gotta restart it. We're working on multiple projects at the same time, running up to 8 concurrent Claude codes. BrainSpawn is a VS Code extension for immediately creating multiple terminals in VS Code with custom icons and colors, all running Claude. Clibbits is a clipboard history management app tied to locally running transcription service with LLM powered features. BrainSpawn with a space. Clipper. This is another thing. This is another bug. Actually, I know what's happening. It's a clipboard history management app integrated with locally running transcription service that includes LLM power features. The bug, which I almost need like a system for managing all these different things that I'm coming up with. So that's one. So this bug, there is currently a bug that happens when we do transcription and then pass the transcription through the LLM to clean it up. The transcription service has key terms that it uses to recognize words the user is saying that are not in the training data set, but we lose those when it goes through the LLM prompt. So basically we're doing a double process on the user's audio, and even if we correctly identify the names they say during the transcription step, we then undo them during the prompt step. That's basically what's happening. And I almost could probably prove it. No. There's something kind of wonky about this though. Just because this looks like very well zoomed out, but like it's very fragmented, all the sentences and early. It's almost like every time it's getting some sort of batch of audio, it's just like transcribing that as a full sentence, which is not. And the thing is, I could go in there and dig around myself, but I don't want to do that. There seems to be a bug with the raw audio recording. It's a minor bug, but what happens is it seems to recognize every batch of audio as its own sentence instead of continuous sentences. I'm not sure if this is because of the way that we are using the WebSocket to do the transcription, or if it's some built-in problem with the model. But an example of the output is this. Dang it. Did it again. All right, I'm gonna have to fix this because it's catching me every single time. And the bug is a lot of times I try to copy something or screenshot it and then use the transcription service to then ask for a fix or change. But when I use the transcription service, it creates a new item on my clipboard so that the next thing I paste is the transcribed audio and not the first thing that I copied. Yeah, so. Small problems. We'll get to it. We will get to it. All right, so I'm actually running, I had this question here about not possible. Okay, so the question I asked was like if we could change the icons and colors dynamically, because I would really like to see like when Claude is done or when Claude is still working. VS Code's answer is not possible. I have a crazy thought. My crazy thought is Claude lets you resume chats. You can use like a -R command. Similarly, you can do this. Let me just spin it up real fast. So you can type /resume, and then you can go through each of these. And I'm pretty sure I think they have like the session ID. We can test it real fast. So status. This session ID is this. And so I believe if I exit and then maybe I do Claude, let's see what I have here. I think there's a way to like type, yeah, resume a conversation by session ID. All right, so we do Claude -R session ID. Bring us back. So the crazy idea that I have is to basically use this like framework or feature of Claude Code to like, maybe it's not gonna work. The idea was like whenever Claude gets to a certain point or a certain like checkpoint or crosses over into a certain phase, you could like create a new terminal using this brain spawn thing with a different icon or different icon color, and then you could resume the chat. It might have legs. It might have legs. But like the idea would be like Claude's doing something, it's just running, and like say all of my brain spawns start as like red or something. Maybe they start as like, I don't know, green. Green means like no, red. Red means they're not doing anything. They all start as red. Then I ask a question and Claude is working. Not gonna work. Not gonna work. Because then Claude is working and then it finishes. The hard part is I wouldn't be able to detect that it is done working. Like, but if I could, say hypothetically I could. It's working, it's working, it's working. It finishes. That triggers something, goes to my brain spawn VS Code extension, which then tears down that terminal, creates another one with a different icon, and it resumes the session. So then basically it's like the session is just still there. It's just now in a different terminal, and it has different icons, so I know like what I need to go back to. This could be super over optimization. I don't know if I would ever really need that kind of feature. Actually, no. I think I want that. Let's go back to this pessimistic Claude that's telling me I can't do stuff. Where was it? This one? Yeah. Negative Nancy Claude here. Icon path can only be set. The terminal interface has no mutable icon property, and pseudo terminal has. Okay, I don't care. I'm not going to use pseudo terminal. No proposed API for this exists. The only workaround would be disposing and recreating terminal. That's what I just said. It's not disruptive because I can resume the session. That's the problem though. Yeah, there's no explicit is idle flag, but you can track it yourself. On to change terminal shell integration. The second problem is like not knowing the session ID of the Claude session. Like I don't think I would be able to know that unless I was able to run some sort of command. Which I believe is like status. You run status, you can get the session ID here. This might be not worth it. I'm gonna think about that for a little bit. Let's destroy all these. Launch group, bootstrap it. I am curious if like launching Claude uses any of your like overall usage, your quota. If I just spin up like 20, does it like take some percentage of my usage away? Maybe not. All right, so then what I wanted to try was this edit configurations. I almost want them to default collapsed. And then like in the header, you could just even show the command. Like, why wouldn't you do that? Yeah, let's do that. I want them to start off as default collapsed when you're looking at an existing spawn group. And I want to show the terminal command in the header as well, so that you can see basically everything that matters in one go. If it is too long, just truncate it and show ellipses. All right. So now what we can try to do is delete one of these because that wasn't working before. Delete. I guess you have to double tap it. Yeah, that's a fine touch. And I'm also realizing after just using this that I can't even see this one, so change it to white. All right, so I'm remembering there's one other thing we were working on was after it finishes this bug fix, we have to address the fact that it doesn't really keep your scroll position. And so like if you add a new one, so like go back here, for example, if I'm on, say, these are open and I want to create a new one, it doesn't, for one, it doesn't scroll me down. For two, if I like have an existing one and I copy it, also weird. It defaulted to close. Let's try that again. Like I just want it to scroll to the new one that I'm working on. I also want to be able to immediately see the new terminal that I'm working on. So if I add one or if I copy an existing terminal, the view should scroll to that new form so I can work on it. Okay, so that one's gonna go. I don't know if this is the best way to do work like this, but you know, it's a new way. It's like I just start on one thing and then I go back and I remember that I was working on something else, which was this usage thing, which still seems to be a little busted. But that could be because it didn't restart yet. I wouldn't think the React portion of this Electron app would need to be restarted. It's just like a web page. No, it's still not working. We have a couple things going on. My other Claude finished the implementation of taking a screenshot of the screen first and then letting me cut it out, which I think that needs some work because it didn't look great when I just did it. Still not working. When I try clicking on a bar in the chart, it selects multiple of them and the numbers don't change. Did it again. I have to fix this. It is ticking me off. I need to actually think about what the solution to that would be. It's like, I take a screenshot, I do a recording. It might be weird if like transcriptions are deprioritized. So if there's like the last thing I copied was an image, I can already see how this is going to be not great. If the last thing I copied was an image, then like don't put the transcript on top of it. Maybe like put it under it. But then it's like then you have a god image that's just staying at the top of the clipboard. But maybe what happens is like if it inserts, because right now it auto inserts the thing I say. So whenever I talk here, it inserts it directly into my cursor. That happens. We could almost use that as a trigger to then like move it down. So whenever I say it, we could just like move it down and then replace whatever's under it. I'm starting to understand. It is clicking for me. And what is clicking for me is the fact that we need to start labeling anything that is an actual transcript as such. Right now, normal text and transcripts are all treated the same, which means I can't. The problem I was trying to solve is like this is a transcript and this is a transcript. So if I try to use my solution, I would, insert, I would say something, it would transcribe it, it would insert it into wherever my cursor was, and then add it to the top, and then the trigger of like adding it at my cursor would then like move it down one. But in this case, this number 2 option is also a transcript. So what we need to do is like a little bit multi-step. Everything needs to be labeled as a transcript. If the second item in the list is a transcript, we don't replace it or we don't move it up. If it's an image or a normal text, then we do move it up. And so like that's how you could just like maintain like the thing I'm talking about is currently on my clipboard, and so I can paste it in. You do get into this situation. This is just gonna have to be a setting because you get in a situation where say I take a screenshot, I paste it in, and then I say something. No, actually, I think that makes sense. It's like you always want the thing you just copied or screenshotted to be at the top of your clipboard because that's the current thing you're talking about. Let's focus on one thing at a time right now. The bar chart. Is the bar chart working? It's working better. That is working better, but the chart interaction is still weird. There's a separate selection outline that happens or shows up around all of the bars, and then another that shows up around the entire bar chart. These seem like they are not useful because I will never be selecting the entire chart. Also, we need to make it more obvious that the usage metrics at the top are your total metrics for the time range, I believe. Another bug. If you just like do a recording and then stop it, it thinks it hears words and it didn't. I'm not sure if I like this. The screenshot that it takes has a lower quality than the normal screen, and there is a noticeable lag whenever I hit the screenshot hotkey. There's a screenshot of myself. All right, so we're gonna see if this actually works. So I'm gonna just take a screenshot. And so I think it's probably not gonna work right now. I feel like there's gonna be some sort of we have to specify the model. Yeah, I don't like this screenshot thing. It almost made it worse. When I send a request to this endpoint, I get this error. Restart it to be safe. getting to the point of having too many things going on. In this case, it doesn't work if I click on the column where the bar is. I have to click on the actual bars. So like what I was seeing is like, I want to be able to click here, but I have to click there. It does change the numbers though, which is nice. Thing is, this new screenshot change, not great. All right, let's communicate to oh, thank you. All right, I was using the wrong endpoint. Restart for good measure. Okay, let's try it. I think it did it. So we received it. It works, but I can't see the descriptions on the preview page. Didn't really fix it. It's good. It sort of solves the problem, which is like, it is nice to be able to capture the screen exactly as it was. Oh, okay. So this is working now. This is take a screenshot. Chat interface with two messages. The first dark gray bubble states, "I'm not sure." In this case, clicking on the column doesn't work. I guess it's just saying that. Well, the second message repeats the. Okay, so we have this working now. Anytime I take a screenshot. So actually, let me do this. Let me do like a screenshot of something that is not text. My mouse. That's awesome. So I took the screenshot. It also finished incredibly fast. A black Corsair gaming mouse with blue lighting on the scroll wheel logo featuring prominent purple memory card icon overlaid at center. Dude! And so now, the idea is, yeah, I mean, it did it. There it goes. Like now I can see the descriptions in the, when I'm looking at images here. And so this is the image. But like obviously this is much better than like, I guess if I hover over it, what does it show me? It shows me the image. Oh yeah. All right, and I mean I guess I just want to like do this. So like what if I did this? Like it's so fast actually. Okay. Took a couple seconds, but still, I mean, if you're not immediately clicking on it, it's gonna be done before you look at it. Dashboard displaying metrics and a bar chart tracking activity. The thing is, okay, so I mean, this is besides the point. It does work, but like I just need to make the prompt like know that it's generating a description for search. So it should do the search, or it should do the general description plus like just a list of keywords that I could use to find this image. That's sick. I guess I'm like starting to be interested in like how much the GPU is actually probably not using too much electricity because it only does things when I send requests to it. It's not running constantly. That's something to keep an eye out for. So, anyways, we did most of that. I think I'm gonna probably do this after the stream, just like try to get this thing where like if I click on like there's still some weirdness here. It's fine though. So that's that. We have the vision model set up. Let's try the screenshot one more time. Because basically I know that it is not image like the quality of my display by looking at this part on the screenshot. So you probably can't see when I do this. That's better though. Whatever it did, it did seem to fix it. We got our descriptions, boys. And that looks actually pretty. I guess that's how it looks. It does look like that. Okay, so I think that's working. So like let's we'll commit everything. Updates. I also, with this sort of workflow, it would be really nice to like have something here that shows me exactly like just a blurb about what I was working on last. Like even like some pinned message at the top with like a 2-sentence brief summary of like what I'm working on. Okay, so this was just like retaining the expansion state. And this was me trying to get Claude to do something it didn't want to do, or it says it can't do. Just restart that real fast. I imagine this will restart in like 2 seconds. There we go. Woo! I'll say we do this, and then we add another one. That's good. That's better. I like that. And so, yeah, so then I guess what I was thinking was like I would just do this. Because I would create like a bunch of these. Create a bunch of these, and then when you install this extension, you just have like a bunch to pick from. And then whenever you want a new Claude, you just boop. I got a new Claude. There's another Claude. There's another Claude. And yeah, then you go to work. So I'm probably gonna install this. Probably gonna use it. It's super simple. And I really don't think I even need this user level one. Oh. No, what I'm going to do actually is I don't need that one. I just want this one to be at my user settings. So I'm gonna have one of these, and then it's just gonna work. So cool. All right, I think that's it for right now. I'm gonna keep working on some stuff, but pretty happy with the progress. So see y'all in the next one.